Monday. I'm out on my morning walk with Ollie, just getting ready for the day. You can see I got my hair slicked back for work, so I'm ready for action here. Something that I want to do this week as well is write up a program for the next month or so that I can follow that just details my running and lifting, so I can follow along and I can also keep track of if I'm hitting my workouts on time. I'm off to breakfast. All right, good morning. It is 8:30 on August 15th, just getting ready for some work today. Got my cup of coffee. Game plan for today is we're running, and then what I'm gonna do later today is figure out my game plan basically for the next 4 to 8 weeks. It'd be nice to have a schedule as opposed to having just some broad goals every single week of what I want to accomplish as far as workouts go. So we're gonna put together a calendar so I can just check things off every single week, and then at the end of the month too, I can use it as a little bit of like an accountability tracker and see, did I hit my workouts? Did I show up? Am I getting fitter? Something that I'm noticing this time around of, coming back from an injury or coming back from being sick is I'm really prioritizing my rest days. And, I think it's easy to get sucked into, doing something that's low intensity on your rest day and not actually fully taking a day off. And what's super interesting is on my rest day, so Sunday yesterday, for example, was my rest day this week, my overnight HRV jumps a significant amount when I just have a chill, relaxed day. And I think a problem that I've had in the past is convincing myself that what I'm doing on my rest day doesn't count as a workout. And so I'm just sort of, fatiguing my body more and more and more. So main focus this time around as I put together this training block is schedule a rest day and stick to it. Breakfast this morning is 2 fried eggs on this seeded sourdough again. I've got my supplements again this morning. We've got iron, ashwagandha, and some allergy medication, and just a nice tall glass of water. This breakfast has been my go-to for the last couple of years now. There's nothing really that I crave more than eggs fried in butter on sourdough toast. First meal of the day going down. It's just before 10 o'clock right now. Coffee already done this morning, so we're just getting started with the day. All right, we're back on the running path today. Quick little 5K again, down to the rock and back from the house. Today we're also going to the gym. I finally put together like a solid program that I think I'll do for the next 3 months. 12 weeks of basically just steadily increasing mileage, steadily increasing lifting volume, to actually trying to program in one single rest day, because I've been noticing a really big difference. The more I sleep, the better I feel. Like ultimately this time around, coming back from zero, the main goal is going to be to recover harder than normal, which sounds a little silly, but I definitely get caught up in trying to catch up and, push hard. And I think really that's been detrimental to my training over the last couple of years. So the goal is to recover hard. Okay, today's run, 3.25 miles at a 10:53 pace. Average heart rate was around 139 BPM for the run. Pretty much all of my runs, I am not really caring about the pace right now, or I'm trying to not care about the pace right now. My main focus is just trying to keep my heart rate under 140 beats per minute. I think for me, that is a good sweet spot of zone 2 and just trying to make sure that I can ramp up the weekly mileage without being too intense or too harsh on my body, especially considering that, the ligaments in my hip and knee are still healing / will never be up to 100% like they were before my injury. So just moving slow, but starting to feel really good. Having one of these Fit Crunch bars before I head to the gym. Macros, again, on these super trash, like protein to calorie ratio is not great, but they're cheap and they taste good, so it'll do the job before I go for another workout.
So going into today's workout, it was shoulders today. So starting off the workout with some overhead press. This has always been a tough one for me balance-wise. I definitely have to be looking in the mirror to do it. Starting set was 95 pounds, then 110, and then 120, all 3x3. Next exercise for the day was this machine shoulder press. I did a 3x8 with 120 pounds and then did a finisher set where I dropped it down to 60 pounds and then just burned it out. I think I did 10 or 11 reps here. In the past, I've always avoided machines. I've been more of a free weight guy, but bringing this into my shoulder day has made a big difference, and I'm starting to feel a lot stronger. These upright rows I was originally doing just with the preset barbells, but after a workout with a friend who recommended doing it on the Smith machine, I switched over, and I think I like it more, but I'm not 100% sure yet. With the free weights, I definitely feel it a lot more in my rear delts. And with this one, I feel it more on the side delt, which is definitely where I'm lacking in size. So I think I like this. I might switch it up again in the future, but for now, I'm sticking with it on the Smith machine. You can't have a shoulder day without lateral raises. So this is one of my final sets here. I also did some face pulls after this, but I don't think I actually recorded those. So this is the last one that I got on video. Lateral raises have always been a weird exercise for me because I always feel like I'm doing different things with each arm. But using 20 pounds here, I did 3 sets of 15 and then did a couple of burnout sets with lighter weights in between.
Okay, just got back from the gym, had some dinner. It was a great day, 2 awesome workouts. I got my 5K done and I did some shoulders at the gym. And really, I took some time today to think about what I want the next 12 weeks to look like as far as training goes. I think it's time now where I can start to increase my weekly mileage and also start lifting on a real program that allows me to get stronger as opposed to just sort of trying to see, what is safe and what is doable post-injury. So I'm going to put the training program on the screen here and just sort of walk through the general idea of what I've got going on. So if you actually take a look here, week 1 is technically already completed. Last week I did basically just under 10 miles. It was like 9.7 or something like that. And I already did my 3x5 squat bench deadlift, in the 5-3-1 type program. I did a mountain bike ride on Saturday as well, and then I took my rest day. So really we're jumping into week 2. If you take a look at this, what you'll notice is basically every single week the running mileage is going up by 10%. I'm not exactly sure where I heard this, but a long time ago someone told me that you should only increase your running volume at most 10% each week. And that's just the easiest way to remain uninjured while you're running. It feels super slow right now because my weekly mileage is only 10 miles a week. But given that I'm coming back from an injury, I think that's the smart way to go. As I move through this and feel stronger, maybe I'll reassess. But I think for now, I think this is the right move for me, is to just slowly increase my running volume. Over 12 weeks, that gets me up to just over 20 miles a week. And from there, I can really start doing something with my training load, whether I want to add in another running day for the week, or if I want to keep my current running volume and start increasing some intensity. But that puts me at a good weekly mileage where I can really start to take advantage of the fitness that I'll get from that. If you take a look in here as well, you'll see that every 4 weeks there's a deload week. So I'll cut my running volume in half, and I'll also cut my weight volume in half for my lifting days. So I'll just be doing basically 50% of my perceived 90% 1 rep max. And you know, that's something that is really good in the 5-3-1 programming, but I have not done a very good job of with running in the past, is really sticking to these deload weeks. Like I said, I think it's easy for me to run away with the idea of just doing more and training harder is always better, but I really know that that's not the case. So every 4th week is a running and weightlifting deload week. And then because I've really been enjoying mountain biking, I want to make sure that I have a dedicated day of the week where I can go out. So whether that's Saturday or Sunday, I think it's okay to pick one or the other, but either Saturday or Sunday is also going to be a rest day. So it just depends on when I'm able to get out and what I'm able to do. I think this is going to be a good structure that'll get me through the next couple of months, something that I can stick to, something that's easy, and something as well that I can go through and track and make sure that I've actually hit every single one of these weeks. You know, if I go back and look, you know, over the last 3 months and see that I did not hit my workouts, I think that's a good reason to not add intensity or not to be increasing weight. But if I look back and see that I showed up and I hit my workouts, I was consistent, then it's okay to move forward and to start adding in, you know, more intensity, more volume, and just keep progressing. So this is what I'm going to be following. We'll see how things go, but this is a lot of what the video content is going to be based around now, is following the program, hitting the workouts, running more, lifting more, and riding more.